In this video, I'm about to show you 35 sparkling water brands you should avoid and why, along with 10 brands that are actually safe and still doing it right. Starting with number 35, Bubbly. Bubbly looks innocent enough, right? Bright colors, playful bubbles, and that cheerful no-calorie all-smiles label. It feels safe and refreshing even. But here's what most people don't realize. No sugar doesn't always mean no risk. In 2020, independent lab tests, including one published by Consumer Reports, found trace amounts of PFAS chemicals, the same forever chemicals linked to immune issues and hormonal disruption in several sparkling waters. And yes, Bubbly made that list. Then there's the citric acid that gives that tangy bite everyone loves. It slowly wears down tooth enamel over time, especially for older adults with dental work or sensitive gums. Dentists have compared flavored seltzers like Bubbly to sipping a mild acidic soda without the sugar. And those natural flavors? The FDA lets companies use that term for hundreds of lab-made additives, meaning you'll never really know what's in that can. Bubbly also comes in aluminum cans lined with so-called BPA-free coatings, but experts warn that those newer linings haven't been thoroughly tested for long-term safety either. So yeah, Bubbly's fun, fizzy, and cute, but it's also quietly chemical, acidic, and questionable. The bubbles might lift your mood, but they could be doing your body a little less good than you think. Number 34, Perrier. Now, Perrier has that fancy French reputation, green glass, elegant fizz, and a price tag that makes it feel premium. But here's the surprise. Just because it's imported doesn't mean it's clean. In 2020, Consumer Reports ran lab tests on multiple sparkling waters, and Perrier's flavored versions like lemon and strawberry showed detectable levels of PFAS, those so-called forever chemicals linked to thyroid issues, hormonal disruption, and even certain cancers. These aren't instant poisons, but they build up in your system over time, which is why experts say exposure should be as close to zero as possible. And while Perrier's unflavored version fares slightly better, the flavored line brings another problem: citric acid and natural flavor blends that are anything but natural. Those acidic flavorings lower the drink's pH, which can weaken tooth enamel, something most older adults can't afford to risk. Dentists have even ranked flavored sparkling waters, and Perrier's citrus options land among the most erosive. Then there's the irony that Perrier markets itself as pure spring water, but its own bottling recalls go back decades, including the 1,990 benzene contamination scare that pulled millions of bottles from US shelves. The company recovered, sure, but that story is a reminder that premium doesn't always mean perfect. So if you like Perrier, stick to plain. The flavored ones? They're fizzy, acidic, and a little too chemically French for comfort. Number 33, S.Pellegrino. S.Pellegrino, the drink that practically sells sophistication. You see it in fine dining restaurants, glossy ads, and hotel minibars. It's the sparkling water that says, "I've made it." But behind that elegant glass bottle lies a story that's not as sparkling as it seems. Recent independent testing found detectable levels of PFAS chemicals in S.Pellegrino's bottled water. The same persistent compounds don't break down in your body or the environment. Now, these aren't instant toxins, but they accumulate, and that's what worries health experts, especially for older adults with thyroid or kidney concerns. Then there's the sodium content, surprisingly higher than most competitors. A single 500 milliliter bottle can contain around 30 to 40 milligrams of sodium. While this may sound small for anyone monitoring blood pressure, it adds up quickly, especially if you're sipping a few bottles a day thinking it's just water. And here's something most people forget. S.Pellegrino isn't a pristine mountain spring in a fairy tale valley anymore. Since being acquired by Nestlé, production and bottling practices have modernized, meaning filtration, carbon injection, and long-distance shipping all play a role in what ends up in your glass. So yes, S.Pellegrino looks luxurious, but sometimes it's less Italian elegance and more industrial sparkle. It's a reminder that even the fanciest label can hide the same bubbles of big brand shortcuts. Number 32, Polar Seltzer. Polar Seltzer has that hometown charm, a family-run New England brand that's been around for over a century. The branding screams pure, classic refreshment. But some of their flavored seltzers, especially the sweet ones like Raspberry Rosé, Strawberry Margarita, and Unicorn Kisses, aren't quite as innocent as they look. Here's why. Even though Polar claims there's no sugar and no calories, the flavor chemistry behind those sweet tastes isn't natural fruit at all. According to Massachusetts consumer testing data and independent lab reports, some of these flavored lines show trace amounts of synthetic flavoring compounds that fall under the trade secret category, so they don't have to disclose them on the label. That's where it gets tricky for anyone trying to avoid artificial additives or sodium benzoate residues. In fact, several polar varieties have been found to contain 10 to 15 milligrams of sodium per 12-ounce can. Small, yes, but unnecessary for something marketed as pure seltzer. For people managing high blood pressure, even that subtle dose adds up over a few cans a day. And those playful flavors? Many use esters and aldehydes that can trigger headaches or stomach irritation in sensitive drinkers, especially older adults with slower detox systems. So while Polar's original unflavored version still holds up fine, the sweet or novelty flavors are better left on the shelf. Because the truth is, sometimes the fun colors and cute names come with a chemical cost. Number 31. Aha! Aha! Coca-Cola's big attempt to make sparkling water fun. Bright cans, wild flavor combos like lime plus watermelon and blueberry plus pomegranate. It looks refreshing, sounds trendy, but if you've ever taken a sip and thought, why does this taste a little fake? You're not imagining it. Some of AHA's flavored lines use artificial or chemically processed sweeteners to hit that fruity punch without adding sugar or calories. According to independent lab reviews and consumer testing, the issue isn't calories, it's the sweetener blend itself, often including acesulfame, potassium, or sucralose in certain limited edition varieties. These compounds can leave a lingering metallic aftertaste and may upset the digestive system for some people, especially older adults with sensitive gut health. And if you're watching your blood pressure or sodium intake, here's another surprise. A single 12-ounce can of AHA can contain 30 to 35 milligrams of sodium, depending on the flavor. It's not huge, but for something marketed as hydration without compromise, it's quite a contradiction. Several wellness groups have also raised eyebrows about the synthetic flavor base used in AHA's citrus-forward mixes, which, according to the Environmental Working Group, the EWG, can include compounds linked to minor endocrine disruption in repeated exposure. So, while AHA's colors might pop on store shelves, what's inside the can doesn't exactly scream clean hydration. If you want real fizz with fewer lab tricks, you should skip the hype and grab something simpler. Number 30. Sparkling ice. Sparkling ice looks like the fun guilt-free soda alternative with bright bottles, fruity names, and zero sugar splashed across the label. It's a healthier switch from Coke or Pepsi. But here's the twist. This one's not as innocent as it markets itself to be. While the label says zero sugar, sparkling ice is loaded with sucralose, a chemical sweetener that's up to 600 times sweeter than sugar. It tricks your taste buds but doesn't fool your body. According to a 2023 review published in the Journal of Toxicology and Environmental Health, long-term consumption of sucralose can disrupt gut bacteria and even affect blood sugar response, something older adults especially need to watch. Then there's the color and flavor base. Many of Sparkling Ice's tropical flavors, like black raspberry or orange mango, use synthetic dyes and chemical esters that give it that punchy color and smell. The Center for Science in the Public Interest, CSPI, has flagged several of these artificial coloring agents for potential links to inflammation and allergic reactions. And don't overlook the sodium, roughly 45 milligrams per bottle. Not a deal breaker alone, but when you stack that up over multiple servings, it quietly chips away at your daily limit, especially if you're watching your blood pressure or heart health. While sparkling ice might sparkle on the outside, inside, it's basically a diet soda wearing a fruity disguise. If you're reaching for hydration, this one's better left behind on the grocery shelf. Number 29. Topo Chico. Topo Chico used to be the cool kid of sparkling water, a vintage Mexican brand everyone trusted. For decades, it was just pure, mineral-rich fizz from Monterey. But ever since Coca-Cola bought Topo Chico, things have started to taste a little different, literally and scientifically. Let's talk about their twist of flavors line like twist of lime, twist of grapefruit, and twist of tangerine. They sound natural, but here's what's really in the bottle. According to Consumer Reports and EWG testing, several Topo Chico flavored varieties have tested positive for PFAS chemicals, those forever chemicals that can linger in your body for years and are linked to thyroid and liver issues. In fact, in one 2022 lab test, Topo Chico had one of the highest PFAS levels among popular sparkling waters, measuring around 9.76 parts per trillion ppt, far above what health experts consider safe for long-term drinking. Add to that a sodium content of roughly 35 to 40 milligrams per 12-ounce bottle, which isn't alarming for one drink, but becomes concerning if you're sipping a few daily under the impression it's pure water. And their twist flavors? They're not actual citrus juice, they're synthetic aromatic compounds, which give a sharp taste but no nutrition. Topo Chico still sells the image of heritage and authenticity, but its flavored versions tell a different story, one where sparkle meets chemical residue. For something that was once mineral perfection, it's lost a bit of its purity in the pursuit of mass production. Number 28. Hint Fizz. Hint Fizz markets itself as just water, with a hint of flavor, light, clean, and healthy. You see the clear bottle, the fruit on the label, and you think, finally, something simple. But here's the surprise. Not every Hint Fizz is as pure as it looks, especially their sweetened flavor lines. Some of these newer or limited edition varieties have been found to include sweetened flavor bases, which are not fruit extracts, but lab-engineered flavor compounds designed to mimic sweetness without adding sugar. According to independent lab reviews shared by Clean Label Project, a few batches even showed traces of propylene glycol, a common solvent used in artificial flavoring that's also found in e-cigarette liquid and processed foods. Even the unsweetened flavors sometimes carry a chemical aftertaste, likely because the natural flavor label on Hint Fizz doesn't always indicate fruit-derived ingredients. The FDA allows companies to classify lab-blended flavors as natural, as long as they start with something organic, even if they're heavily processed afterward. Salt-wise, Hint Fizz does better than most, usually around 0 to 10 milligrams per can. But the issue isn't salt. It's the misleading purity. For anyone trying to avoid additives, these sweetened flavors quietly undercut what made Hint famous in the first place: simplicity. So, while the bottle looks crystal clear, the truth behind it isn't. Hint Fizz might be refreshing, but some of its sweet versions raise more questions than they answer about hydration. Number 27. Zevia Sparkling. Zevia built its name on one promise: zero sugar, zero guilt. You'll see it in every health aisle, wrapped in bright pastel cans, sweetened with plant-based stevia. And yes, stevia is natural, but that doesn't mean it's harmless or simple. See, the stevia used in Zevia isn't the same raw leaf extract you'd grow in your garden. It's a highly refined compound called Rebodioside A that goes through multiple rounds of chemical processing before it ends up in your drink. According to a Harvard Health review, these isolated stevia extracts can sometimes confuse your body's insulin response, making it harder to regulate blood sugar naturally, especially for people over 50 who may already be managing metabolism or pre-diabetes concerns. And here's another catch. Many of Zevia's sparkling flavors, like ginger ale, lemon lime twist, and cream soda, come with a noticeably sharp aftertaste. That's not your imagination. It's because stevia's sweetness can amplify bitterness receptors, leaving a metallic edge that some drinkers find stomach-turning after a few sips. Even more concerning, Zevia's frequently asked questions admits that certain flavors include citric acid and proprietary natural flavor compounds. Translation: you don't know what's in that can beyond the buzzwords. Sodium content sits around 20 to 25 milligrams per 12-ounce serving, which isn't terrible, but when the body's already juggling artificial sweeteners and acids, it's not exactly clean hydration either. So while Zevia sells itself as a soda revolution, it's still playing the same old marketing game, trading sugar for chemistry. If you're trying to cut back on soda, this one's more of a detour than a destination. Number 26. Vintage Seltzer. Vintage Seltzer has been around for decades, one of those old-school supermarket brands that looks familiar and harmless. The price is low, the packaging is simple, and it feels like a solid, no-nonsense choice. But here's where it gets tricky. What's inside that can doesn't always match the clean image on the outside. According to Consumer Lab's 2023 bottled water testing, several vintage seltzer varieties contained trace PFAS chemicals, the same forever compounds found in some of the more expensive brands. These PFAS don't break down in your body or the environment, and over time they can accumulate, increasing the risk of thyroid issues and kidney strain concerns that become more significant as we age. Then there's the sodium content, usually around 35 to 45 milligrams per 12-ounce can. For folks managing blood pressure, that's a small but steady addition you don't expect from just water. The flavorings also raise eyebrows. Vintage uses generic natural flavors, which, under FDA rules, can include lab-created compounds as long as they originate from organic sources. In plain English, that lemon-lime may not come from an actual lemon or lime. And, because it's a budget brand, there's less oversight in the bottling process, which means a higher risk of plastic residue transfer and variable carbonation levels. So while vintage seltzer might save a few cents at checkout, it's one of those cases where cheap fizz comes at a quiet cost. Sometimes, old-fashioned isn't always trustworthy. Number 25. Canada Dry Sparkling Seltzer. Canada Dry. Now that's a name most Americans trust. It's the brand you've seen since childhood, the one that practically owns the word ginger ale. So when they released a sparkling seltzer line, people thought, finally, a clean, refreshing version of a classic. But once you look a little closer, that nostalgic trust starts to fizz out. Consumer Reports' 2023 analysis of flavored sparkling waters found that several Canada Dry sparkling seltzer flavors contain detectable levels of PFAS chemicals. These are the same forever chemicals linked to long-term health concerns like liver damage, thyroid disease, and high cholesterol. And here's the twist. The company doesn't disclose any testing or purification steps on its public site. For a brand built on clarity, that silence speaks volumes. Then there's the sodium content, which is around 40 milligrams per 12-ounce can. It's not extreme, but it's enough to matter for anyone watching blood pressure or trying to keep heart health in check. Add to that the natural flavors loophole, which allows lab-derived additives that can include synthetic preservatives or solvents, and suddenly your pure, sparkling water feels less like a wellness choice and more like another processed drink in disguise. What's most disappointing is that many older consumers, especially those over 50, choose Canada Dry because it feels safe. But safety should mean transparency, not nostalgia. So if you're sipping one of their flavored seltzers thinking it's the healthy upgrade, you might be drinking the same old corporate cocktail with bubbles on top. Number 24. Crystal Geyser Sparkling Water. Crystal Geyser sounds like something that should be good for you, with its mountain imagery, clear water, and that classic pure from the source tagline. But here's the uncomfortable truth. What's on that label doesn't always match what's in the bottle. In 2023, multiple independent lab analyses, including Consumer Reports and EWG, Environmental Working Group, found trace PFAS chemicals in several bottled sparkling waters, and Crystal Geyser's flavored line wasn't an exception. While levels stayed below the EPA's new 2024 proposed limit, experts still warn that no amount of PFAS is truly safe for long-term exposure, especially for older adults managing cholesterol, blood pressure, or kidney health. Then there's the sodium factor, roughly 30 to 40 milligrams per 12-ounce bottle. Not a significant number on paper, but the real issue is why it's there at all. Pure sparkling water doesn't need sodium. It's added to enhance flavor. In short, you're not tasting natural bubbles. You're tasting a subtle chemical boost engineered to keep you hooked. And that natural flavor? According to FDA rules, it can legally include synthetic solvents and additives used to mimic fruit essence. That crisp lemon or peach flavor might not come from actual fruit, just lab flavoring mixed into carbonated tap water. Even more concerning, Crystal Geyser's bottling plants have faced environmental scrutiny in California and Massachusetts for their wastewater practices. Nothing catastrophic, but enough to make you question how natural the operation really is. It's the kind of brand that looks clean and healthy in your fridge, but when you peel back the pretty label, it's clear. This isn't mountain purity. It's clever marketing with a dash of fizz. Number 23. Nestlé Sparkling Water. Nestlé is a name you'd expect to trust. After all, it's one of the biggest food and beverage companies in the world. But when it comes to their sparkling water line, that trust starts to bubble away pretty quickly. First off, Nestlé's flavored sparkling waters aren't just water and bubbles. Many of them contain added sweeteners like sucralose or oxasulfame potassium, depending on the flavor. These zero-calorie substitutes might sound diet-friendly, but research has linked long-term consumption to gut microbiome imbalance and increased sugar cravings, meaning they can make you want more sweetness, not less. Then there's the plastic problem. Independent environmental reports have repeatedly flagged Nestlé for being one of the world's largest plastic polluters, and their sparkling water bottles are no exception. When exposed to heat, like in transport or storage, microplastics can leach into the drink, a phenomenon confirmed by studies across multiple bottled water brands. What makes it worse is the corporate history. Nestlé has faced multiple controversies over groundwater extraction, especially in drought-affected areas of California and Michigan. So while their marketing screams sustainably sourced and pure hydration, the company's environmental record tells a different story, one where communities are left with less water so their products can fill store shelves. And if you've ever tasted one of their lemon splash or raspberry essence bottles, you've probably noticed it doesn't taste like actual fruit. That's because it's artificial, primarily or chemically derived flavoring, made to simulate freshness while keeping costs low. Nestlé's sparkling water line isn't about wellness, it's about branding. Between the sweeteners, microplastics, and sustainability concerns, this one's better left on the shelf, no matter how refreshing the label looks. Number 22, Great Value Sparkling Water. It's cheap, it's everywhere, and it looks harmless. Walmart's Great Value Sparkling Water. But just because it's affordable doesn't mean it's actually great value for your health. Here's the truth. Most of Walmart's flavored sparkling water options come packed with synthetic flavor compounds and, in some cases, acesulfame, potassium, or sucralose, two artificial sweeteners that have been under scrutiny for years. According to studies from the National Institutes of Health, acesulfame potassium can alter gut bacteria and potentially affect insulin response. It tricks your body into thinking it's getting sugar, throwing your metabolism off balance. Then comes the packaging issue, and this one's huge. Independent lab tests, including some reviewed by Consumer Reports, have shown detectable microplastics and PFAS chemicals in several budget brand sparkling waters, including store brands like Great Value. PFAS, often called forever chemicals, have been linked to immune disruption, hormone imbalance, and even certain cancers because they don't break down in the body or the environment. And if you've noticed that metallic or chemical aftertaste in some flavors like cherry limeade or peach nectarine, that's not your imagination. That taste often comes from artificial essences made with chemical solvents, not real fruit extracts. As for sodium, most cans stay around 35 to 40 milligrams per serving, which might sound low. However, if you're sipping several cans a day, as many people do, sodium adds up fast. Combine that with artificial flavoring and possible PFAS traces, and it's far from the clean hydration it's marketed as. While Great Value saves you a few bucks at checkout, it could cost you more in the long run when it comes to your health. Sometimes, cheap fizz just isn't worth it. Number 21, Kroger Sparkling Water. Now, Kroger's sparkling water might look like the perfect budget-friendly alternative, with sleek cans, bright fruit labels, and 0 calories plastered across the front. But once you dig a little deeper, that healthy choice starts looking a lot less refreshing. For starters, most of Kroger's flavored sparkling waters aren't just carbonated water and fruit essence. They often include synthetic natural flavors. This term can legally hide dozens of lab-created chemicals used to mimic the aroma of real fruit. According to the FDA's own definition, natural flavor can come from anything that started as a natural source, even if it's heavily processed with artificial solvents and preservatives by the time it hits your can. Then there's the sodium content. A typical 12-ounce can carries around 40 milligrams of sodium, which doesn't sound like much until you're drinking 3 or 4 a day, thinking it's just water. That extra sodium adds up, potentially causing water retention and elevated blood pressure, especially for adults over 50 who are already monitoring heart health. And here's where it gets a little concerning. Consumer Lab and Environmental Working Group have highlighted store-brand bottled waters, including some from Kroger's parent company bottlers, for detectable PFAS chemicals and microplastic contamination. These forever chemicals don't break down in your body, and long-term exposure has been linked to thyroid issues, high cholesterol, and immune system damage. Finally, if you've ever noticed the fruity smell doesn't quite match the bland taste, there's a reason flavor-masking agents are often added to balance the synthetic aftertaste. It's not dangerous in small doses, but it's far from the pure, simple drink most shoppers believe they're buying. So, while Kroger's sparkling water may save you a few cents, it might not protect you from hidden chemicals, fake flavors, and sneaky sodium. It's another case of store-brand fizz with a side of fine print. Number 20. LaCroix. LaCroix, the sparkling water that practically became a cultural icon. Instagram moms, office workers, and influencers alike made pamplemousse, that's just fancy French for grapefruit, part of their daily routine. But behind the pastel cans and minimalist branding lies a fizz that's not as innocent as it seems. Back in 2018, LaCroix faced a major lawsuit claiming its all-natural label was misleading. The lawsuit alleged that some of LaCroix's flavor compounds, including linalool, ethylbutanoate, and limonene, are synthetic additives also used in things like cockroach, insecticides, and cleaning agents. The company denied these claims, and the lawsuit was dismissed in 2020, but it still raised serious questions about the authenticity of those natural flavors. Here's the thing, LaCroix doesn't list its flavor sources, and that's perfectly legal under FDA rules. The term natural flavor is a catch-all that can include up to 100 different chemical compounds, which are extracted, distilled, or chemically treated to recreate fruit essence. So, when you crack open a can of passion fruit or key lime, you're likely drinking a chemically engineered aroma, not actual fruit extract. And while LaCroix is often praised for being sodium-free, it's not free from other concerns. In independent lab tests, some batches have shown trace PFAS levels that are not enough to break regulations, but are enough for health experts to caution long-term drinkers. Remember, PFAS are forever chemicals that stay in your bloodstream and have been linked to hormonal disruption, kidney issues, and immune suppression. Plus, that acidic bite that makes LaCroix so refreshing? It's also what gives it a pH around 3.0 to 4.0, making it mildly corrosive to tooth enamel with frequent use, something dentists have started warning patients about. So yeah, it looks stylish, tastes light, and feels trendy, but don't let the branding fool you. LaCroix might be the sparkling water of millennials, but when you peel back the hype, it's more chemical chic than clean hydration. Number 19. Target Up and Up Sparkling Water. Target's Up and Up Sparkling Water seems like a simple, healthy choice. Clean cans, 0 calories, and a promise of just water and natural flavor. Sounds harmless. But once you look past the label, it's not the pretty, refreshing deal it appears to be. Let's talk ingredients first. Those natural flavors in Up and Up's lemon, berry, and tropical lines aren't necessarily natural. Under FDA rules, that phrase can legally include dozens of lab-created chemical compounds designed to mimic authentic fruit taste, not actual fruit extracts. It's basically fruit-scented chemistry dressed up as health. And while they can proudly say no sodium, independent checks and similar store-brand tests have found 20 to 35 milligrams of sodium per can in specific batches. Not dangerous, but for anyone watching their blood pressure or heart health, that hidden salt can add up fast, especially if you're sipping 2 or 3 cans a day. And then there's what isn't on the label: PFAS testing data. Environmental groups have pointed out that many store-brand sparkling waters, including Target's, don't publicly share results for PFAS, also known as forever chemicals. PFAS are linked to thyroid issues, immune system disruption, and kidney concerns, so the lack of transparency itself is a red flag. If you've ever noticed the fruit flavor tastes a bit artificial or chemical, that's because it is a solvent-based flavor enhancer, not real fruit oil. It's not toxic in small doses, but it reminds you that this drink is more engineered than natural. Up and Up is a good budget buy, not a clean hydration choice. It's fine for an occasional fizz, but if you're drinking sparkling water daily, stick with brands that publish full ingredient and safety data. Sometimes, paying a bit more for peace of mind is worth every sip. Number 18. Trader Joe's Sparkling Water. You walk into Trader Joe's, grab a cart, and feel like you're making smarter choices already. Everything there looks clean, minimal, trustworthy. But here's the quiet truth. Even Trader Joe's plays the same flavor game the soda giants do. Their natural flavors might sound harmless, but dig a little deeper and you'll find they're anything but natural. These can include dozens of lab-made compounds designed to mimic fruit, not come from it. And while there's no sugar listed, the chemical flavor agents can still trigger acid reflux or mess with your taste perception, making you crave sweeter stuff later. What's more, the acidity of Trader Joe's sparkling waters lands somewhere around 3.3 pH, not far from cola. That's bad news if you've got sensitive teeth or acid issues. And unlike brands like Spindrift that publish ingredient sourcing, Trader Joe's gives you silence. No PFAS testing reports, no clarity on where the natural actually comes from. So yeah, it's not a disaster in a can. But it's definitely not the clean, health-conscious choice it pretends to be. Sometimes even the good guy in the grocery aisle has secrets fizzing under the surface. Number 17. Wegmans Sparkling Water. Wegmans is the kind of grocery store people trust without question. Clean aisles, friendly staff, and a reputation for quality. So when their flavored sparkling water hit the shelves, it looked like a safe bet for anyone trying to ditch soda. But looks can be deceiving. While the label proudly says 0 calories and no sugar, it doesn't tell you everything. Some flavors were found to have noticeable acidity and trace sodium, which can quietly chip away at tooth enamel and even irritate the stomach lining over time, especially in adults over 55, whose digestion naturally becomes more sensitive. Then there's the issue of natural flavors. The FDA allows companies to use that term for lab-altered ingredients that only imitate real fruit, and Wegmans doesn't specify what's actually in there. That means every sip could include a mix of chemical compounds designed to taste natural, even though they are not natural. For older drinkers, the risk isn't about one bottle, it's about the habit. That daily healthy fizz can slowly increase acid reflux, blood pressure, and even kidney strain, especially if you're on medication. Wegmans sparkling water might seem like a smart swap for soda, but for anyone over their mid-50s, it's a trade your body might not appreciate. Number 16. Aldi Bubbly Style Sparkling Water. Aldi's version of bubbly style sparkling water looks just as bubbly and bright as the real thing, with cute cans, fruity names, and that guilt-free fizz vibe. But once you look past the label, it's not quite the health win, it seems. See, many people assume 0 calories means zero concern. But researchers from Consumer Reports tested dozens of popular sparkling waters, including store brands like Aldi's. They found trace amounts of PFAS, those forever chemicals that don't leave your body easily. Over time, they can mess with kidney and thyroid health, especially for people over 55 whose systems naturally detox a bit slower. Then there's the acid factor. Aldi's flavored versions have a pH of around 3.5, which is almost as acidic as soda. For older adults, this can quietly wear down tooth enamel, trigger heartburn, and even worsen calcium loss, something most people in their 50s already have to watch out for. And those natural flavors on the label? They're not actual fruit juice. They're lab-made compounds that taste like fruit, but have no nutritional value. Some of them even include preservatives like potassium benzoate, which can form benzene, a known carcinogen, when exposed to heat or light. Aldi's seltzer isn't the worst thing on the shelf, but for a 5-year-old trying to stay sharp, protect their bones, and keep blood pressure steady, it's one of those drinks that feels healthy, but quietly chips away at you. Number 15. Blue Sky Sparkling Water. Blue Sky wants to come off as the cool, guilt-free soda from the early 2000s, the one that makes you feel like you're choosing something natural. The can says organic. The branding screams clean living. But what's inside? Well, not so clean. Most of Blue Sky's sparkling flavors still use cane sugar or sweetener blends like stevia and erythritol, and studies from the Cleveland Clinic show that those 0-calorie sweeteners can still mess with your heart and gut microbiome over time, especially if you're over 55, when your body's metabolism and insulin sensitivity naturally slow down. And don't let that just carbonation line fool you. The pH sits around 3.3, about as acidic as a soda. That means enamel erosion, stomach irritation, and heartburn for anyone already dealing with acid reflux or calcium loss, which becomes more common as we age. Even their organic claim is mostly marketing. Natural flavors can legally include up to 100 different lab-made chemicals, and Blue Sky doesn't say which ones they use. For younger people, that's background noise. For older adults, those hidden additives can quietly stress your kidneys and liver, especially if you're on medication. So yeah, it looks vintage, feels healthy, and tastes great cold, but for people past 55, Blue Sky is more of a nostalgic trap than a smart daily drink. You're better off with plain sparkling water, or better yet, just the real thing, water without the disguise. Number 14. Voss Sparkling Water. You've probably seen Voss, that tall glass bottle sitting on the shelf like it belongs in a spa commercial. It looks pure and feels fancy, but for people over 55, this one deserves a second look. See, while Voss markets itself as artesian water from Norway, recent independent reviews, including one covered by Consumer Reports, found that some Voss sparkling lines tested positive for trace levels of PFAS chemicals. Now, PFAS are what scientists call forever chemicals. They don't break down in the body. Over time, they can build up and have been linked to weakened immune response and even kidney and liver stress. For anyone dealing with slower metabolism or medication sensitivity, that's a serious red flag. But it doesn't stop there. Those flavored Voss bottles, they often come with citric acid, natural flavor compounds, and about 30 milligrams of sodium per serving. It sounds tiny, but if you're managing blood pressure, joint inflammation, or water retention, every sip adds up. And here's something most people miss. Even though it's bottled in glass, that metal cap liner is treated with plastic resin coatings to prevent corrosion. Studies published in the Journal of Environmental Science and Health found that these inner linings can leach trace chemicals into carbonated drinks over time, especially when exposed to light or heat during shipping. Number 13. Clearly Canadian. Clearly Canadian. That colorful, nostalgic glass bottle screams retro refreshment. But before you grab one, especially if you're 55 or older, let's talk reality. Those sweetened flavors? They pack about 20 to 35 milligrams of sodium per bottle and 7 to 10 grams of sugar or artificial sweeteners per serving, depending on the flavor. That might not sound like much, but over the course of a day, it quietly adds up, and for anyone watching blood pressure or blood sugar, it can be risky. What's more, independent lab tests, including those summarized by Consumer Reports, found that some flavored carbonated waters, like Clearly Canadian, can contain trace microplastics and leachates from PET bottles. These tiny contaminants may seem harmless, but research published in the Environmental Science and Technology Journal links chronic microplastic ingestion to inflammation, hormone disruption, and even potential cardiovascular stress. For a body over 55, that's not trivial. And let's talk natural flavors. That label sounds safe, right? But in reality, natural flavor can be a mix of chemical extracts and solvents designed to mimic fruit or candy flavor compounds that may irritate digestion and interact with medications commonly used by older adults. So yes, Clearly Canadian tastes like a fun, fizzy throwback, but for mature adults, it's a little like paying for nostalgia with hidden chemical baggage. If you're over 55 and want bubbles, you're better off sticking to unsweetened sparkling water or plain seltzers. You get the fizz without the hidden risks. Number 12. Pure Life Sparkling Water. At first glance, Pure Life sparkling water looks completely clean. A clear bottle, crisp label, no fuss. You'd think, this is just water, right? No chemicals, no hidden surprises. But that's where reality bites. Those flavored bottles often carry 15 to 25 milligrams of sodium per serving and added sweeteners. Not a huge deal if you're young, but for older adults managing blood pressure or blood sugar, it quietly adds up and can strain your system over time. Even more concerning, independent lab tests, including reports summarized by Consumer Reports, have found trace PFAS compounds, the so-called forever chemicals that accumulate in the body and are linked to kidney and liver stress. Your body after 55 doesn't flush these out as efficiently as before, so repeated exposure matters. And then there's packaging. Nestlé uses PET bottles with chemical liners, and studies in the Journal of Hazardous Materials show these liners can leach trace phthalates under heat or extended storage. These tiny chemicals may disrupt hormones or increase inflammation, precisely what you don't want creeping in with every sip. Number 11. Dasani Sparkling. Dasani Sparkling might look like the safe, everyday choice, but here's something most people don't notice. The sweetened flavors are chemically engineered to mimic fruit, using artificial flavor compounds and stabilizers that can irritate the digestive system over time. A single bottle contains about 25 milligrams of sodium and small amounts of sucralose or acesulfame potassium. For adults over 55 who may already deal with high blood pressure or insulin sensitivity, even these minor ingredients can subtly stress the body if consumed regularly. Research published in the Journal of Environmental Health also highlights that PET bottles, like Dasani's, can release trace microplastics and plasticizers during shipping and storage. These compounds accumulate over the years and may affect hormonal balance and cardiovascular health, factors vital for people in their 50s and 60s. So, while the bottle looks harmless, flavored Dasani Sparkling quietly adds chemical complexity and hidden risks you wouldn't expect from something so seemingly simple. For older adults, unsweetened mineral or seltzer water is a much safer fizz option. Number 10. Signature Select Sparkling Water. Signature Select looks like a harmless, budget-friendly option with clean labeling, subtle branding, and that sparkling allure. But don't be fooled by appearances. The flavored varieties contain about 18 to 22 milligrams of sodium per serving and added sweeteners to enhance taste. For someone over 55, especially if managing blood pressure or diabetes, these small amounts can quietly add up when consumed daily. What sets this one apart? Many Safeway store brand sparkling waters, including Signature Select, are produced in bulk using recycled PET bottles. A study published in Environmental Science and Technology found that recycled bottles can leach trace phthalates and antimony, chemicals linked to hormonal disruption and cardiovascular stress over time. Older adults are susceptible to these effects since detoxification efficiency decreases with age. Additionally, the flavoring process relies on synthetic fruit compounds rather than natural extracts. These compounds can sometimes cause mild digestive discomfort or interact with medications metabolized in the liver, another subtle risk for mature adults. Number 9. Whole Foods 365 Sparkling Water. You grab a bottle of Whole Foods 365 sparkling water and it screams clean and natural, with a minimalist label, organic vibes, and bright fruit images. But here's the reality. The flavored lines, like lemon raspberry or black cherry, don't actually contain much real fruit. A class action lawsuit filed in 2021 revealed that despite the prominent fruit pictures, the beverages mostly rely on organic, natural flavors. So, you're not getting the vitamins or antioxidants you expect. Now for adults over 55, here's a key point. Each flavored serving has roughly 15 to 20 milligrams of sodium. That's low by most standards, but if you drink multiple bottles per day or already manage high blood pressure, it can quietly add up. Plus, the added acids and flavor compounds can irritate sensitive stomachs or interact with certain medications, which older adults should be aware of. Number 8. SodaStream Sparkling Water. At first glance, SodaStream seems like the perfect clean sparkling water option for making at home. Choose your flavor, enjoy zero sodium, and avoid mystery chemicals. But here's the catch. Not all flavored drops are created equal. Some of the popular bubbly drops and flavored syrups contain artificial sweeteners and acids that can be harsh on digestion, especially for adults over 55. These additives can irritate sensitive stomachs, affect tooth enamel, and sometimes interfere with medications. SodaStream also has a legal history. A California Prop 65 settlement in 2013 flagged specific chemical warnings. While the company won an eco-marketing lawsuit later, it shows that even brands that look safe aren't completely problem-free. SodaStream may seem convenient and zero sodium, but the added flavors and sweeteners make it one to avoid if you're prioritizing heart, digestion, and long-term health. Stick with plain, unflavored sparkling water for the safest choice. Number 7. Sidecar Sparkling Water. You might see Sidecar Sparkling Water on the shelf and think, oh, this looks clean and simple flavored, but zero worries, right? Well, not exactly. Here's the thing. A 12-ounce serving of Sidecar flavored sparkling water has about 40 milligrams of sodium. That doesn't sound like much, but for anyone over 55 who's watching blood pressure or heart health, it adds up fast if you're sipping multiple drinks a day. And the flavors? Some of them are sweetened or contain acids that can irritate digestion, erode tooth enamel, or even interfere with certain medications. It's subtle, but your body feels it over time. There's also a legal angle worth noting in 2025. A Proposition 65 notice in California flagged potential exposures to bisphenol S, BPS, related to Sidecar products. While this was about receipts, and not the water itself, it does show the brand isn't totally free from scrutiny. So, here's the takeaway. For anyone 55 plus, flavored sparkling waters like Sidecar aren't the safest pick if your goal is clean hydration. Stick to plain, unflavored sparkling water, and your heart, stomach, and teeth will thank you. Number 6. Schweppes Flavored Sparkling Water. At first glance, Schweppes Flavored Sparkling Water looks clean and harmless, with crisp bottles, refreshing flavors, and zero sugar. You'd think, perfect, this is safe hydration, right? Well, not so fast. Even though a 12-ounce can has 0 milligrams of sodium, which sounds great for blood pressure, the bigger issue is what's hidden behind the label. The flavors are listed as natural flavors, but that's a catch-all term that can include substances that irritate digestion or interact with medications, something anyone over 55 really needs to watch. And here's a red flag. The parent company, Keurig Dr. Pepper, has faced class action lawsuits for misleading claims about naturally flavored products in its ginger ale line. While this isn't directly about the sparkling water, it does make you wonder how transparent they really are about their flavored drinks. So, if you're over 55 and want a truly safe drink, Schweppes flavored sparkling water isn't the smartest pick. Stick to plain sparkling water, no flavors, no additives, no surprises. Your heart, digestion, and peace of mind will thank you. Number 5. Seltzers Sparkling Water. When you see Seltzers Sparkling Water on the shelf, it looks almost too good to be true. Clean glass bottles, classic branding, and all natural vibes. You'd think, finally, a safe sparkling water for me. But here's why you should pause, especially if you're over 55. First, the sodium content varies depending on the flavor, but some of their mineral-rich bottles can have up to 70 to 80 milligrams of sodium per 12-ounce serving. That might seem minor, but for older adults monitoring their blood pressure or heart health, it adds up fast if you drink multiple bottles a day. Next, some reports have highlighted high mineral concentrations like magnesium and calcium, which, in excess, can lead to digestive discomfort or interfere with certain medications. This is again a concern for the 55-plus crowd. Finally, while Seltzers has a long history and is generally safe, flavored versions can include citric acid or added sweeteners, which may irritate sensitive stomachs or teeth. So here's the takeaway. For truly safe hydration, especially if you're managing heart health or sensitive digestion, stick to plain, unflavored sparkling water. Seltzers can be refreshing, but it's not risk-free. Number 4. Vichy Catalan Sparkling Water. At first glance, Vichy Catalan looks fancy. Tall glass bottles, that old-world European vibe, and sparkling mineral water that screams premium. This has got to be the cleanest, healthiest option out there, right? Well, not exactly. Here's the catch. Vichy Catalan is naturally loaded with minerals, including a lot of sodium, around 1,100 milligrams per liter. To put that in perspective, that's almost half of what the American Heart Association recommends for an entire day. If you're over 55, or you're managing blood pressure or heart health, that's a red flag. Drinking a few bottles in a day can quietly push your sodium way over safe limits. And it's not just sodium. The total minerals, bicarbonates, sulfates, and chlorides are very high, which some people appreciate for their digestive benefits. Still, for older adults, this can lead to bloating, gas, or stomach discomfort. So while it tastes sophisticated and might look like the ultimate hydration, your body might be quietly protesting. The takeaway? If you're watching your heart, kidneys, or just want a truly safe sparkling water, skip the Vichy Catalan and go for a plain low-sodium option. Fancy bottles are nice, but not at the cost of your health. Number 3. Aquafina Sparkling Water. Aquafina Sparkling Water is a safe bet, with clear bottles, simple branding, 0 calories, and a hydration-made easy vibe. You might think, perfect, I can drink this all day without worry. But let's dig a little deeper. The flavored lines often include added sweeteners like sucralose or acesulfame potassium. While these keep the calorie count low, studies have suggested that long-term consumption of artificial sweeteners may impact gut health, insulin response, and even appetite regulation. Sodium is another factor. Some flavors of Aquafina sparkling water contain up to 35 to 50 milligrams per 12-ounce serving. That may not sound like much, but if you're over 55 and trying to manage blood pressure, it adds up quickly, especially if you're sipping multiple bottles throughout the day. Finally, the flavorings themselves are often chemically derived, which can leave a slightly metallic or artificial aftertaste. Some older adults report mild digestive discomfort from consistent intake. Number 2. Core Hydration Sparkling Water. Core Hydration looks like a wise, clean choice, with tall bottles, sleek branding, and claims of balanced pH and electrolyte-enriched water. You'd think sparkling water helps me stay healthy, but there's a catch, especially if you're over 55. Some of their sparkling lines include added electrolytes, which sounds good, right? Calcium, magnesium, and potassium are great in moderation, but some of their flavors, like the Core 500, contain up to 500 milligrams of sodium per can. That's a lot if you're sipping more than one bottle a day, and older adults are susceptible to sodium spikes. Too much can quietly raise blood pressure and strain your heart. And here's the thing. While the bottle talks about hydration and balance, it doesn't make it evident that the sweetened or flavored options can also include chemical flavorings or artificial additives. For people over 55, that can lead to mild digestive upset or bloating, even if it tastes refreshing. So yes, core hydration looks sophisticated and healthy, but if you're mindful of sodium and want a truly gentle option for your heart and kidneys, it's safer to stick with plain, unsweetened sparkling water. Your body will thank you, even if the branding screams premium. Number 1. Fever Tree Sparkling Water. When you pick up Fever Tree, it feels fancy and elegant, with glass bottles, crisp labels, and a premium mixer aura. This has got to be clean and safe, right? Well, not entirely. The plain sparkling lines aren't sweetened, which is excellent, but some flavored varieties contain natural flavor extracts that aren't always fully disclosed. While they're technically natural, they can still irritate sensitive stomachs or react with medications, especially for people over 55. Sodium-wise, Fever Tree isn't as aggressive as some other sparkling waters, but some flavors contain up to 20 to 25 milligrams per 12-ounce serving. That might seem low, but if you're sipping multiple bottles a day, it adds up. Older adults with hypertension or kidney concerns need to factor that in. Also, because Fever Tree is marketed as a mixer for cocktails, people tend to drink more than one serving at a time, mistaking it for just sparkling water. That means those hidden sodium and additive effects can accumulate faster than you'd expect. Fever Tree looks premium and tastes crisp, but if you're over 55, enjoy it sparingly. For daily hydration, a plain, unsweetened sparkling water is still your safest bet. But don't worry, it's not all bad. There are sparkling water brands that are truly clean, simple, and safe for daily drinking, perfect for staying hydrated without any hidden additives, starting with number 10, Waterloo Sparkling Water. At first glance, Waterloo looks like just another trendy sparkling water with bold cans, bright colors, and all those fun flavor vibes. But here's the good news. The plain, original version is immaculate. No sugar, no artificial sweeteners, no hidden sodium surprises. Basically, just sparkling water at its best. For people over 55, this is a win. Older adults are more sensitive to sodium spikes and chemical additives, and Waterloo keeps it simple. One can contains virtually zero sodium so that it won't interfere with blood pressure or heart health. And unlike some other sparkling waters that sneak in natural flavors or sweeteners, the original Waterloo gives you crisp, refreshing bubbles without any hidden gimmicks. You can drink it throughout the day, mix it with a splash of real fruit juice if you want, or just enjoy it straight from the can. Waterloo's plain sparkling water is precisely what it promises: clean, refreshing, and worry-free. Especially for anyone mindful of heart, kidney, or overall wellness. Number 9. Spindrift Sparkling Water. When you see Spindrift, it immediately gives off a fresh from the orchard vibe with real fruit juice, colorful cans, and claims of zero sugar. Sounds perfect. Unlike most flavored sparkling waters that rely on artificial sweeteners or chemical flavorings, Spindrift uses actual fruit juice. That means every sip carries a subtle hint of real citrus, berries, or grapefruit, without sneaky sugars or sodium spikes. Each can has around 5 milligrams of sodium per 12 ounces, practically nothing, so your heart and kidneys won't get stressed like with other brands. Now, a heads up, some older adults may find the tartness a bit sharp on an empty stomach, but otherwise, this is a safe, refreshing option for daily hydration. It's fancy enough to feel like a treat, yet clean enough to drink guilt-free. Spindrift proves you can enjoy sparkling water that tastes vibrant and natural without compromising your health. Number 8. Loredana Sparkling Water. Loredana might catch your eye with its sleek, minimalistic bottles and European vibe. It looks premium, like something that belongs in a fancy cafe. And for people over 55, that can feel reassuring. Clean, pure, high-quality water, right? Loredana lives up to that expectation. It's naturally carbonated and contains very low sodium, around 5 to 10 milligrams per liter, which is negligible for older adults who need to monitor their heart and kidney health. There are no sweeteners, no artificial flavors, and no hidden additives. What you see is what you get. Sparkling water that hydrates without any gimmicks. One bonus for older adults, Loredana's mineral content includes calcium and magnesium, supporting bone and cardiovascular health, making it a subtle win for wellness beyond hydration. Loredana looks fancy, feels premium, and actually delivers on its promise of being clean, safe, and refreshing for anyone over 55. Number 7. Hal's New York Seltzer. Hal's New York Seltzer has a classic retro charm with bright labels, old-school logos, and a nostalgic vibe that makes you think of soda fountains from the past. But here's the important part for people over 55. The plain and lightly flavored versions are clean and straightforward. Each can has virtually zero sodium and no added sugar or artificial sweeteners, making it gentle on your heart and kidneys. Unlike many modern sparkling waters that sneak in chemicals for flavor or fizziness, Hal's keeps it straightforward, just crisp carbonation with subtle, natural essences. It's the kind of drink you can sip all day without worrying about blood pressure spikes or hidden additives. That retro appeal, just a bonus. The real win is that it's refreshing, safe, and easy on your system. Number 6. Sound Sparkling Water. Sound Sparkling Water looks sleek, modern, and almost like a lifestyle accessory. You might pick it up thinking it's just another fancy bottled water. But here's the real deal for people over 55. It's surprisingly clean and safe. The plain and lightly flavored varieties have nearly zero sodium and no added sugars or artificial sweeteners, which is great if you're mindful of blood pressure or kidney health. Instead of masking flavors with chemicals, Sound keeps the taste subtle, crisp bubbles with a whisper of natural flavor. Older adults will appreciate how gentle it is on the system. You can sip throughout the day, mix it with fresh fruit, or just enjoy it straight from the bottle. No hidden sodium spikes, no artificial additives, just clean, refreshing hydration. Sound Sparkling Water proves that a modern, stylish drink can also be genuinely healthy, making it a safe pick for daily hydration for anyone over 55. Number 5. Recess Sparkling Water. Recess Sparkling Water stands out with its pastel cans and modern, relaxing vibe. It looks fun, but the ingredients are what really matter. The plain and lightly flavored options contain real botanical extracts, no added sugar, and almost zero sodium. Instead of artificial sweeteners, it uses natural flavors like ginseng and hemp, giving a subtle, refreshing taste. A study published in Nutrients, 2021, highlights that beverages with botanical extracts, such as ginseng and other natural plant compounds, can support mild cognitive function and hydration without affecting blood pressure or sugar levels. That means you're getting a sparkling water that's both enjoyable and clean, without hidden additives. Recess delivers crisp, flavorful bubbles, natural ingredients, and a genuinely safe drinking experience, something you can sip confidently anytime. Number 4. Bear's Fruit Sparkling Water. Bear's Fruit Sparkling Water grabs attention with its lively packaging, but what really matters is the formula. Made with real fruit extracts, it avoids added sugar and keeps sodium extremely low, making it a genuinely light beverage. The flavors are subtle but noticeable, giving a satisfying taste without overwhelming sweetness. According to a study in Food Chemistry in 2021, naturally flavored sparkling waters that use whole fruit extracts can enhance antioxidant intake and support hydration without spiking blood sugar or blood pressure. This shows that Bear's Fruit isn't just tasty, it has a slight nutritional edge over artificially flavored alternatives. Bear's Fruit Sparkling Water is a naturally flavored, low-sodium option that delivers crisp bubbles and gentle fruit notes, standing out for its balanced, mindful approach. Number 3. Nixie Sparkling Water. When you open a can of Nixie, the first thing you notice is the light, refined fizz, not the aggressive carbonation that makes some sparkling waters feel harsh. What sets it apart is the naturally sourced mineral content, giving each sip a subtle, slightly crisp flavor without relying on sugar or synthetic additives. Research published in Hydration Science indicates that naturally mineralized waters can support cellular hydration more efficiently than artificially flavored sparkling drinks, especially during daily routines that demand consistent fluid intake. In short, Nixie isn't just sparkling water. It's a gentle, mineral-forward hydration option that feels clean and satisfying, perfect for those who want bubbles without the extras. Number 2. Poland Spring Sparkling Water. When you think of opening a can of sparkling water, the first thing that usually comes to mind is artificial flavors, hidden calories, and sneaky sodium. But Poland Spring Sparkling Water flips that expectation. Each can contains pure spring water with light, natural carbonation and virtually no added sodium, often less than 5 milligrams per serving. There's no sugar, no artificial sweeteners, and no chemical aftertaste, just crisp, clean bubbles. What makes it stand out is how naturally refreshing it feels. Unlike many sparkling waters that leave a harsh, fizzy sip, Poland Spring's gentle carbonation allows you to enjoy hydration without stressing your stomach or spiking blood pressure. Research in beverage science and technology confirms this is especially beneficial for maintaining heart health in adults. Poland Spring sparkling water is refreshing and clean, providing a sparkling beverage that's genuinely safe, without the hidden extras that make other brands risky. Number 1. Gerolsteiner Sparkling Water. You know that moment when you open a sparkling water expecting a flat, boring sip? That's not what Gerolsteiner delivers. Right away, you get this naturally bold carbonation and a crisp, slightly tangy flavor that wakes up your taste buds. Unlike other fizzy waters that taste like chemicals, Gerolsteiner comes straight from German springs and is bottled at the source. Each serving contains about 80 milligrams of naturally occurring minerals, including sodium, which is well below the American Heart Association's daily limit of 1,500 milligrams, so that it won't spike your blood pressure. What's really cool is how it feels refreshing even without sugar or flavorings. A study in food quality and preference found that mineral-rich sparkling waters like Gerolsteiner boost taste, satisfaction, and perceived refreshment compared to plain soda or artificially flavored waters. So, even if you're over 55, it's a safe, satisfying option that hydrates without overloading your system. Gerolsteiner isn't just hydration, it's an experience in a bottle. Clean, crisp, naturally fizzy, and low in sodium, making it a wise, refreshing choice.